With us now, former senior advisor in the Trump and Bush administrations and Newsmax contributor Christian Whiton, partner and co-founder at Flynn Zito Capital Management, Doug Flynn, plus attorney and Republican strategist Ford O'Connell. Gentlemen, good to see all three of you. Christian, I want to start with you. So it seems like progress, that the trade deals that when the sky was falling, as reported by left-wing media, not the case. UK was willing to negotiate. They have.
Yeah, it's a big deal because it's first, because it gets the ball rolling. This was a fairly easy one to do in one sense, in that we actually have a trade surplus with Great Britain. That's very unusual and very different than the situation with the European Union that Britain actually left with Brexit that Trump mentioned in 2017. It's a good idea. You know, there's been talk about putting Britain first in line even before the Trump, even in the first Trump administration. We have so much in common. We have the rule of law in common. They don't have too many barriers to trade. So this is a good deal. It's a good deal politically. It should make people nervous in Brussels. And I think it gives a lot of energy to Secretary of Treasury Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Greer as they meet the Chinese communists in Switzerland to talk trade this weekend, actually starting tomorrow.
Doug, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer wasn't able to be in the Oval Office today, but he did join the announcement by phone. Here's some of what he had to say.
Really important deal. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs, opening market access. And as you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt.
Doug, do you think what happened today, both gentlemen described it as an historic event, it truly is. Do you think this will be a catalyst for other countries to come to the table and realize, hey, you know what, let's make a deal?
I do. I think so for a number of fronts. Well, for the UK, it's really important because we're like number one or number two, their trading partner in most cases. So for them, it's a really big deal. Obviously, it's a smaller deal for us, but it's one that needed to get done. And you could see it in the market because the market is now trading where it was pre-Liberation Day, which means basically all that big negativity has been wiped away. We're back to where we were the day before those announcements. And so the market's looking past that and saying, hey, this is the precursor to getting some deals done. We needed to get one in the books. We got one. Now, each one may be different, but it's what we need to do to get started so that we can get through this and move forward to the other countries and make better deals and put the U.S. in a better position than it had been before, which I think is really the ultimate goal overall.
Well, yes, absolutely. The ultimate goal is to have things better here for American citizens and American companies. Ford, this is not easy work that the president is undertaking. Many people talked about it in the past. They're doing it. He is.
No, that's exactly right. He did something historic, and you can't ignore the symbolism here. He did it on Victory Day with the United Kingdom. 80 years ago today, Churchill flashed the V sign, World War II's over. My sources indicate that the next countries he's going to be looking at to close deals are Japan, South Korea, India, and Australia. And when you think about it, that's a shot across the bow to the Chinese Communist Party, because those are the other countries that fear the Chinese Communist Party taking over in terms of the future. So they're going to be interested in making sure that not only they have a good economic deal, but they have a good economic security deal.
Christian, you also referenced China, and what do you think these talks will look like this weekend? How long do you think it will take to get somewhere?
I'm prepared to be surprised, but I think it's going to take a long time. I think this is just the beginning because the Chinese haven't gotten it through their head, despite the news today, despite Trump's election, that there's a new sheriff in town and that there is no going back. You'll notice that even with the UK deal today, Trump retained a 10% tariff rate. We're not going back to the post-Nixon zero tariff rate. We're going to go back to what, you know, the first law that George Washington signed was the Tariff Act. We've had tariffs throughout most of our nations until history until the 70s. So anyway, China is going to have to change a whole lot more than they think. They're going to have to reform their currency. They're going to have some semblance of the rule of law. They're going to have to stop stealing intellectual property. They're going to have some sort of export controls and face tariffs. That's a lot to swallow. They don't have to concede 100%, but they're used to conceding 0%. So I think this will be a little shock therapy for them and just the beginning this weekend. But again, I'm prepared to be surprised because Donald Trump really can accomplish some amazing things.
As you said, there is a new sheriff in town. All right, Christian, Doug, Ford, thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.